If I keep this in, Joff just gave me the name, so there we go. Right, I'm here with Joff.
Hello.
I don't know if you want to give the government name, if you want to be known as Joff, I don't know.
Joffski, Joffrey, if you like that sort of thing.
Well, introduce yourself, bro. What we doing?
My name's Joffski, aka Jack Godfrey. I am a young Sheffield film director, up and coming. Like yourself.
Well, it's been a long time coming, I think, personally. Like, I've been wanting to start a pod for a while. And I just thought, who better to get on?
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. I'm honoured. Absolutely honoured.
Well, you're in my bedroom before we get the office space as well. So it's even more intimate, It's nice and cute.
History in the making, really.
Hopefully, bro. We'll see how we are in a year's time from here. But, yeah, man, it's been a long time coming. And I just thought, there's no one doing a pod in Sheff. There's no one covering people like yourself.
Fact.
Because there's quite a lot of people in Sheff that you're friends with, I'm friends with, because we've got mutuals.
Yeah, we've got literally like the bang same network. Like it's we just feed off of each other. Like sometimes I'll get a job and I'll put you on for either BTS or just like additional camera work and stuff like that. Or I'll forward you like a client that's not really, you've got a different style sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I do appreciate that, to be fair. But like what I was saying is like, so I feel like it's kind of underappreciated. Like everywhere's got the little scene. They've got like there's the scene popping in Manny, Brum,
100%.
All that shit. And Sheff just gets put under the rug every fucking time.
Everyone's sleeping on Sheffield.
I don't know why though. I don't know if it's because Sheff's a bit behind in terms of like it's not as nice as it used to be. Like not to downplay.
I don't think it's ever been nice.
Yeah, probably. Definitely not been nice. But you get what I'm saying?
No, 100%. Yeah.
I don't know if you go like I don't know, man. People don't really have a reason to come here, if that makes sense. And that's why I want to sort of bring a spotlight to this, because I feel like there's a Sheff scene and it's growing.
Definitely, 100%.
What I mean? So, you know what I mean? If this is going to help.
Yeah, well, do you know what I think it is with Sheffield? I think that a lot of people have started something and they never really finished it, if you know what I mean. So like, for example, in Sheffield, what you can really backdate it to is like a lot of grime stuff like came out like late 2000s, sorry. With like AK Scumfam, K-Dot, all them, man.
I remember.
They were like the originators. Like that's who you knew for Sheffield music, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember that.
Back when Tank were booming off and everything, it was like...
it was even before, innit? There was like fucking niche, man.
You had neat, yeah.
Back in the day when we were in fucking nappies, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
bang on. But like, them, man, are obviously doing their thing now. Obviously they've gone into like a lot of club stuff and they're still releasing music. Like obviously we've got like Roy who's affiliated with K-Dot and stuff that. So it's nice that...
And they're all slept on.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what's stressful. Sorry to cut you off, but it is stressful because like hopefully one day I can get them man on as well. Because they're the ones that were doing it in Sheff from the beginning. And like I feel like they were doing it and then there's just been like quite a few years where nothing was really going on, or if it was, you didn't really hear much. And that's coming from me, who's I don't know, fucked to a rap since I've fucking been born. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about yourself.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I started my love of rap like came, I think like 2018, like late 2017, probably like 2018. Yeah, literally, I wasn't like I knew about JDZ Media and stuff like that when I was like in school, but I never ever listen to that sort of thing. Like I was never really a fan of Bugsy until like later years. I was never a fan of Bugsy Malone and stuff like that. But I've got a mad appreciation for that and the fact that it was literally like one guy like yourself who was going in, and if you was lucky enough to be on that platform, you'd get a music video film for you, and it'd just go absolutely like Spitfire and stuff like that.
Yeah, they used to go nuts, bro. I just my memories of that shit was being like. I mean, I went to rap because of my big sister, man. Like she used to listen to like 50 Cent and Eminem.
Yeah.
I was more like the American shit, and then I think when it got to about year 7-ish, I was like, going more into the UK sort of. Do you know what I mean? Just swaying about. So I feel like we're a bit different in there, but I think that's a good thing.
I think it translates in both of our visual styles though as well, because I think that you've got a lot of that JDZ Media-esque. In a way how you film like heads on, and you don't care what location and stuff. You're quite street with it and quite.
I like it raw, bro.
Yeah.
I do understand, and as with my work, not to make it about me, but with my work, like I wanna. improve on that, because I think I've grown up watching all that shit, so it's just ingrained in me. So when I pick the camera up, I think, right, this is how I've got to do it. And then like when I look at your work, it's completely different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then, which is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So like with me, what that is just my complete love for cinema. Like that is just, it's everything. My life has just been revolving around films and movies and Hollywood and all that sort of stuff. Like I was, like you say, I was in school. I was more bothered about films, and I listened to music because it made me, I don't know, it'd pop ideas off in my head about a film I wanted to create at some point or something like that. So it was always everything. The end goal for me is like feature films and writing scripts and getting to that sort of level where my work stands out and it's my work, and do you know what I mean? So no, 100%. You can see that different visual style in both of our works, and I think both of our goals right now are very similar, but I think the end goal is completely different, if you know what I mean.
Completely different. I mean, I know you just sort of touched on it. I'm gonna literally rewind and go all the way back to the beginning, but I'll carry on from there though. What we're gonna say is, so your end goal, if you could, I don't know, if you had like a dream end goal from you picking that camera up from the very beginning to the end, let's say, like,
that's a good question.
Yeah, like, you know, like, I don't know, like your bucket list thing, you might have multiple things. Like, I want to shoot this, I want to work with this actor or this person. But I don't really mean that. I just mean like your final thing.
Yeah,
it was the last thing you could do, and people remembered you for it.
Okay.
What would it be?
Wow.
Sorry to throw you in that.
No, it's a good question. It's
I don't
good.
want to lose it, so I thought I'll ask you now before we jump back into the.
It's a very, very good question. The end goal, I'd say, after I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve, it's always been about giving back, if you know what I mean. It's always been about giving back to the people who are now in my position, now in both of our positions, and making things a little bit easier for them. That's always been my end goal. I plan it out in like decades and stuff like that. And nothing ever goes planned. Like nothing ever goes to plan. So, but my rough little plan of what I want things to happen and what I want to do is more so like concentrate on the music videos, get some really nice bodies of work. I'm trying to complete, I think, 4 short films this year as well, so I can start bumping out my cinematic stuff and what my potential, people can see the potential in like a feature film one day and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to bump all that out, and then hopefully I can really start building like a portfolio in the industry and start working with like high production companies and stuff like that. It's like, that's a really big goal of mine. And then from there, maybe set up an own production company, and then sort of like invest all that money into feature films. So
Well, I just want to say now that definitely will happen.
No, I appreciate
I know you said you're planning shit in decades, but I don't think it'll be that long, bro.
Oh, fine. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
But yeah, no, it's good to think like that. I think, you know, like you say, like nothing ever goes to plan, but it's good that you've got a plan.
Yeah.
You
so like where if it starts all going tits up in a way, and everything starts really going down, you can still follow what you've planned in your head a little.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know exactly what you mean. Like I've got bare plans. Don't know when it's going to happen. You know what I mean? But you just go along with it and just keep working on it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So I feel you on that. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
I'm just going to have a little sip of the Quazzle Resolver.
That's fine. I'll ask why you're drinking. So I want to know where you're from. I mean, I know you're from Sheffield because I've worked with you and I'd say we're mates, you know what I mean? Like, so I know a little bit, but I actually don't know that much, which is kind of...
It is, I know, we know each other, we don't know each other.
Like when you've lent me equipment before, I've drove to your yard.
Yeah.
But like, is that just... I mean, you can tell the people, like, where did you grow up in Sheffield? And did you ever get any inspiration from where you're from?
That's a good question.
Because like, you're on the completely other end of the city to me.
Yeah.
So... like you said, you weren't really into rap. Like, what music was you listening to? Was it the people you was chilling with in your area? Was it any, like, do you know what I mean? You had your group of mates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I grew up in like a small town called Kilmarsh. I was born in Worksop, so I lived in Worksop for a year with my mum and dad, and then they moved back towards. It was my mum's hometown. Kilmarsh, so they moved back just for school reasons and stuff like that. And so I grew up primarily in Kilmarsh, I went infant school and like junior school and stuff. And I think my love for stuff, it's always been there. Like since I was a kid, I've always watched films because obviously my dad's a very big fan of films. More so music. He's like a really big music fan. Plays like bass guitar and stuff like that. My mum's always been a big like literature fan, so she's loved reading books and telling stories.
There we go.
So them two was just bing bang, and that was that.
I can see where you get it from.
So yeah, my mum was a big like she loved scary stories. She always used to like tell me like ghost stories and stuff like that. My dad wasn't a big fan of horror stuff.
Yeah.
But he was like a big fan of action, and I always love like action films and westerns and all that sort of stuff. But my mum was a big like horror fan. And you could tell that basically Kilmarsh, it's like where I live is like on the suburb bit where it's like all the backfields and the woods and stuff like that. So naturally you start getting like these spooky weird things. I mean, I live up the road from 2 graveyards.
Yeah.
So it was always like a little
count me out of that.
There was always like a big spooky atmosphere around Kilmarsh, and I always liked that. And I think from like I was in like year 2 when I wrote like my first stories. And I remember my mum was telling me the other day actually, like one of the teachers was like, if he doesn't go into the entertainment industry, there's something wrong. Yeah. And I think it was like some weird dumb story about like a werewolf and getting to know his family. So it was just some mad stuff. But I started shooting films when I was 8 years old. Like I've been,
fuck it. So that was actually what my next question was.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like when was like the first time?
It was like
I'm gonna try and make like because. I never really did it as a kid. I liked it, and like, but I think more at that point when I was younger, I wanted to make like COD videos. And shit, I think a lot of people did. To be fair, so like, how did it start?
I did myself. Like,
I was guilty of that. To be fair, and I mean, look, what people have made millions from doing it, so you can't knock it.
Literally, no bang on. They still do as well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's crazy.
But yeah, so how when was the first time you
wow. I think what it was my granddad got me like a little digital pocket camera, and he had some like spare tripods knocking around in the house and stuff. And I ended up just picking it up one day, and I was just like, I had like 2 friends with me, and I was like, I've just got this, and I knew how to get the SD card out and put it into the laptop. And then load up Windows Movie Maker, and I was like, I can do something here.
I remember that, man.
So we just like I shot this Paranormal Activity spoof. It was like when the Paranormal Activity just come out.
I never watched that.
It was like,
kid,
but this is the thing though. Now when you watch it, you're like, what is this? You know what I mean? It is crap. It's absolutely crap. But at the time, we'd been like 7, 8 years old, and you're watching it, you're like, oh my god, like this is terrifying. So I tried to like recreate sort of that in the backfield areas and stuff, and then from there throughout primary school, I mean, on my last day of year 6, I filmed a horror film on my last ever day. I was like, can I bring the camera in? They was like, yeah. So I filmed it. I filmed like a little. It was shocking. But
this was the last day of year 6?
Yeah, year 6 before I jetted off to year 7. But yeah, there was bad, and I think I was thinking about this today. It's like, everyone's got to make crap stuff to make good stuff. And I think that was my film school in a way, where I was like making these really crap, like oversaturated, just anything an 8-year-old would make at that time. And it was just really, really bad. But I'm glad that I got it out of me at such a young age, and then progressed on to stuff like, I think from I think it was about year 8 where I stopped from being in school, and then I progressed into like Nerf war videos and stuff like that. I had like big like Nerf guns and stuff like that. I used to go on the back fields, and I used to show it to my English class. I used to like put them on.
Did they laugh?
And everyone was like, oh my god, what is this crap? It was like, oh, everyone laughing and that, and I used to be like, and that's when I give up with it. I was like, well, clearly everyone's finding it funny for the wrong reasons. And I was just like, I don't want to.
You got past, like you said, that stage where like, I was sort of similar doing BMX videos.
Yeah.
Like, I got a shit camera for Christmas, what I asked for, like a bridge camera.
Yeah.
You take the lens off, it zooms bare far in.
Oh, God.
So I just used to film BMX videos like that, and I feel like that sort of sparked it on for me from being a kid. Like you said, like you're just experimenting and fucking around. Like, nothing comes from it, but doesn't need to.
But it does in a way, because that's your school. Do you know what I mean? That's where you're building.
And I will say now, I'm going to ask you this in a second, and I want your honest opinion. and you can be the complete opposite to me, that's fine. But like, I went to college, and I did journalism, but it was like the social media side, so they expected us to do photography and video, you know, like alongside it.
Yeah.
And they had no fucking idea. Like they didn't even. Honest to God, like we had one like lesson where they was like, "This is how you turn the camera on." As soon as it comes to, oh, how do I change this, or what's exposure, or what's this, they had no fucking idea. So I feel like when I was a kid, I mean, I still struggle a little bit with that now, and like we've had this chat before, where it's like you sort of just not wing it, but you know what you're doing, and then like on the day you work out what you're doing, and it's like as a kid, I would never be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for the BMX videos. Does that make sense? So I'm grateful for that, because if I'd have never done that and you'd have never made them Nerf videos, or the scary stuff, I feel like it would have impacted us both.
100%.
Because college taught me fuck all.
Nothing. No.
It's good that you agree. I thought you might have had a different opinion.
No, bro. Listen, right. I was on the same path. So I did 2 years of acting before, because when I was a kid, I never wanted to be a filmmaker. Even though I was making films, I wanted to be an actor, because I saw on the films, I was like, these guys are actors. I want to be an actor. Like, I never saw who was shooting it, or who wrote the script, or who was behind the camera, or who did all the set design. It was all the actors, and they were the front of everything. So I was like, I want to be like you. Yeah, bang on. So yeah, I went and did acting, and then I failed. I was like, well, what now? I was like, so I had. This was that college? Yeah. So I failed my second year, and it was just all accumulated to absolutely nothing. Just nothing at all. And then obviously I went to my plan was, I was thinking, well, I want to be a filmmaker. Like I did. Long story short, I ended up deciding that I've always wanted to be a director, and that's the stuff. And then I was thinking, well, how do I get into the industry? How do I be a director? And then I was like, well, I need to go to college. I need to go to university. I need to get a qualification. That's the only thing I can do.
That's exactly what
you can't get it any other way. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I did. I wanted to do an access course, because obviously I'd done 2 years previously. I wanted to do an access course where it's like 2 years of work combined into 1 year, and that was digital photography and media. And it was complete bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I did. I was like, well, I want to write a essay on Edgar Wright and stuff like that. I think I said I wanted to write an essay. It was Edgar Wright or Martin Scorsese, because they are like some of the biggest inspirations. There are quite a lot of people's inspirations, but for me, they have genuinely inspired
Scorsese's
me.
The goat.
Amazing. But there was like one of the teachers turned around, the tutors, he was like, nah, you can't be doing that, mate. I was like, what? It was like, well, it's just cliche, innit? I was like, yeah, but these guys inspired me. Like, I'm not going to write about some stuff that's never inspired me. It was like, well, have a look at all these French New Wave films. I was like, I know about them, but they're not my cup of tea. Like, I don't enjoy watching these films.
It's ridiculous. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, they don't really have a clue.
No.
And I feel like if anyone's watching this, I mean, hopefully you fucking are, hopefully. But like I would say, if you are interested in doing anything creative wise, like you want to be a director, you want to be a sound man, I don't know, do you know what I mean? If you want to go down that line of work, like listen to both of us now, we're saying it's not worth it. Like,
it doesn't have to be educational.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be educational, because I did 2 years of college, then they've done 2 years of uni. Uni was even worse than college, and I think how much debt I got in for that. I was getting $9,000 to spend on rent and shit, and it was $9,000 for the course. 2 years, I can't do the maths. I'm not going to do the quick maths like that. But for what? They didn't even know how to work the camera themselves. So how can they teach you to be a good filmmaker, or be creative? Because all they do is just give you essays and say, follow this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So. Listen to Joff and listen to me. You don't
to an extent. Don't listen to us completely. I mean, we're idiots.
Yeah,
we're two idiots.
We're nothing amazing right now. But like we said earlier, maybe in a year's time, you look at us a bit differently. But yeah, so...
Didn't you say that one time there was like, let's make a puzzle board, like a game?
Oh, bro. Yeah, so this is at uni. This is like the first 2 months in. So I guess it's sort of like making friends, socialising. But I had to make... what is it? A board game on global warming. This was a film course as well, a film production course. I had to make a board. It was a board game with like a bunch of nerds. Sorry if you're ever watching this, yeah, but I'm not lying. Like, I was having to make conversation, and you know when someone's just staring at you, and not giving you anything back, and I'm thinking like, how am I gonna be in a group with these kind of people and be creative and make films with them, and can't even communicate. And what the fuck's a board game got to do with it anyway?
About global warming and everything.
When I questioned this, they were just like, "This is just part of the module," and blah blah blah. And it's like, I feel like you end up being surrounded by a lot of people that actually don't take it very seriously.
Yeah, no.
They just think, oh, this is an easy course to do. I can fuck around with a camera and make funny videos with like my friends, and I'll just go and get fucked in my Unicom and whatnot, which is fine because a lot of people do that, and you're gonna have fun. But if you want to take it seriously, like Joff and like me,
definitely,
it's not the place. But I mean, go if you want.
I think. Do you know what I think it is? I mean, I haven't experienced university hands-on, but obviously I've had a lot of people who I'm familiar with. What? Affiliated with.
Yeah, I don't know. Go with
that have had the university experience, and they've said like it just completely like zaps all the creativity out of you, and it's because you're doing like these really like you're being told what to do in a sense, and
do that, and if you don't do it the way they like it, it's wrong. You know, like I'll use an example. So it's really what we got told is it's really looked down upon. I'm going to use an example. You know, like that shot. I don't even know what it's called. You know, like in a Tarantino film. Do you know, like when it's like a quick zoom? Is it a quick zoom? I don't know. Do you know when
crash zoom?
Yeah, when it will just quickly just go in.
Yeah.
And like we got told, like when they would show us examples of like, don't do this in modern cinema and shit. This is not acceptable.
What?
And I guess I understand because it would look a bit sort of out of place now. But
who gives a flying fucking shit? What?
Yeah, that's what it was like.
You can't say that. You actually can't. You genuinely cannot voice. That is someone's opinion. That is someone's opinion.
That was on the module, like basically saying you can't do that. So if I'd have made a video and used that sort of shot and then sent it off,
that would be.
I would have been marked down for like using like not cinema sort of techniques and you know. So like, sorry to keep rambling on about this, but just listen to us, bro. It's ridiculous.
It's true. No, but it needs to be heard because I have honestly this, and especially this country, the education system. We do have a lot of good graduating students, and I will always vouch for that. But what you learn in university it's stupid. It's completely like you just said. How are you saying a technique from, say, if you're inspired, because I'm very much inspired by Tarantino, and I probably intend to use a crash zoom in one of my films one day. Yeah. But how can you say that is wrong?
Good in it as a shot.
It's amazing.
It throws you off.
Kill Bill.
Like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like it's sick, and that's what I mean. It's like you want to just do your own thing. Buy a camera. It doesn't matter if it's shit.
Yeah.
Because you don't, like we said, we both had shit cameras. He was making Nerf videos. I was filming crackheads on Dev and filming Tom Jackson doing grinds on his back. You know what I mean? And Tom will be watching this. You'll remember we both did it, and it was fun. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably why he's doing other shit now.
Yeah, because it all originates for
being creative,
working with so little as well. You need to work with so little, and that's why when I stepped onto the scene literally just short of a year ago. In fact, no, it's been a full year.
Look how much you've done, bro.
I know, and I felt a bit out of place because I was like, I'd stepped onto the scene, and everyone was sort of like saying, "Oh, you work so good and stuff." It's like, yeah, but they think I've just come out of nowhere. It's like I've been working, but I've never released any work. I've never decided up until now. I've never decided I want to pursue this as a career. Yeah. So. It must have been a decade behind me before I decided to start shooting music videos.
You can tell though, because like what I was going to say, like I did want to ask you, how do you go about not being like, I don't know how to explain it, because you know if you go on like GRM Daily now, or just like in the rap scene in general, and you watch the videos, they're all fucking copy and paste of each other pretty much, right? And that's no shade on anyone because. They're clean visually, they're good, they get the views, it is good. But I feel like me, when I make a video, a lot of shit I will film, I think, oh, that looks sick. And then, like, I'll watch a video on YouTube and I'm like, man, that looks way better, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm trying to say to you is, like, how do you curve that and keep it your own style? Because I know it's you filming before I even see your logo fucking pop up. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you want, though. Before I even see, like, the Joff logo pop up, I can tell it's you from a mile away.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
So how do you go about, like, being creative and doing, like, having your own style, basically, because there's so much temptation to, like, oh, I might do that, what he's doing. And that. How are you getting around it and, like, keeping it real, basically?
Wow. Well, I think every time I shoot a music video, there's always elements of other people's work in there, no matter what.
For sure.
Because obviously, once you intake media, if you intake media like me and you, like they say, we sit and watch other people's music videos, we watch films, you have automatically got an unlimited inventory in your brain that just spills out without you. It's unconscious. Do you know what I mean? You're not consciously making them decisions.
No, it's just there.
It just comes out. So it's when it comes down to approaching, I usually just tend not to care about what. I mean, I do, and I'm like you. Like, I'll look at someone else's music video and go, oh, for God's sake, like these guys are doing it way better and stuff. But at the end of the day, something can be objectively shit. Believe me, like, I've seen shit music videos.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've seen good music videos. But once you get to the stage of, like, you've done the hard work and you're producing clean, nice content, it's all subjective. Because, like you say, these GRM videos, they're not our cup of tea, but for someone else, they might look at our stuff and go, nah, too complicated, too visually over the top, and they think, I just want something clean, I want big booty bitches, Mercedes-Benz and drone shots. And what, do you know what I mean? That's fair enough. Like, that's your cup of tea. Film, music videos, everything, it's all subjective, it's all art. It really doesn't matter. And that's why I always tend to think is that it's all subjective. You're going to get some people thinking it doesn't look good, and you're going to get a lot of people thinking, yeah, man, this is sick. So what I tend to do is think my work is never shit or good. It's just
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I can think it's shit or good, and someone else might think it doesn't make. It's not one or the other. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. So I did want to move on and just like ask you this. Well, I've got a few more questions.
Okay, unleash.
So, seeing as we're talking about, like, the GRM shit and whatnot, how, I don't know, if someone's watching this and they're thinking they want to get into it and everything, like, how do you go around creating a video for someone and then having to think about the budget? Like, like, because you can watch a video and there might be just, like, one nice car there, or there might be two girls in the video or whatever, like, and you don't really think much of it, because I've been in that situation where I'm like, oh, I can get this and that and that, and then you realise everything's fucking money.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? God, so how do you go around, like, like, I know obviously you'll have a price for like a standard music video, but I don't know, like, how do you work around that? So, like, if an artist has only got such a small budget, have you got any advice for anyone of how to get around that in terms of just, like...
So what I recommend is something, is it all really comes down to the creative direction. So whoever's really doing the creative direction of the music video, so say, for example, if the artist has wanted to take on the role of creative director and they've had the vision and what they want in it, I sort of leave that up to them, because that's not my place to stand. That's not my place to start paying for the budget. You know what I mean? That's them who's paying for it. So if they want, like, say, models and a location to hire out and a couple cars, they will pay for that themselves. And then I will just say, all right, fair enough. Well, I can quote you, blah, blah, blah. And then that's their budget. That's not my budget. That's their budget.
Yes, that's.
So But then if I've got something I've got like a treatment, I've wrote a treatment for everything, I've got locations and stuff like that, I will then incorporate that into my budget, which is then obviously it's still primarily paid from the artist and stuff like that. Or, for example, I mean, I'm quite unfamiliar with a lot of budget work. I haven't done a lot yet. I've got a few upcoming projects that are very high budget, which I'm fortunate to say. But as of now, I haven't really experienced a lot of budget work, so it's quite hard to say. So yeah, I think if I am the leading creative director on a project, I would try to source a lot out myself. But if they are wanting that and stuff, I will incorporate. I will say, well, write them a big and quote them and send them an invoice and stuff like that.
Pocket, mate,
Going in a movie, mate.
Yeah, well, exactly. You can only do so much, money talks, innit?
It is,
so if you need shit.
100%, but it's never been a leading motivator for me. That's always come second. I think what it always will be is the art first.
Yeah, for sure.
And it would, no matter what it is, even when it comes down to big blockbuster, Hollywood, whatever else I'm going to be on in the next couple of years, it's that it will never be about money. Believe me, money is a massive motivator because who does not like money at the end of the day? But
everyone watching this will be thinking, "Fuck yeah!" I want the money. We all want money.
We all want money. Let's all be honest.
But especially starting out. In fact, carry on because I want to touch on something after. Just like what I'm going to say was like money. I went into it thinking like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get paid for this and that. I realised if you are starting out,
how wrong.
Yeah. Like, if you are starting out, I feel like you need to do a lot of shit for free, but don't get the piss taken out of you at the same time. Is what I want to say.
Facts.
Like
facts.
Money, because you've got to understand. Like, if you're gonna charge people for something, it needs to be up to standards. Like we were saying earlier, everything's subjective, but they can be bad work. So what you want to do is try and, I don't know, I say, just offer people to do, like, you know what I mean? Say to someone, I'll shoot you this, I'll do this. If you like it, you can maybe pay me, but just work on it and build it up.
Yeah.
And then you will get to a point where you're like Joff, where you've got a price and you can quote people and whatnot, and people respect it and they're willing to pay it because the work's good.
Yeah.
So just build it up is what I'm saying. I don't know if you want to touch.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was going to say that your work will always sell itself, and that is the biggest thing.
Me that a lot
through everything I can get from all these subjects about budget and prices and getting into things and becoming a director videographer. The work will sell itself, like no matter what, it will always sell itself. So when, like I say, the money always, if you're going into it thinking about money, thinking I want to be a rich and famous film director, it's like, well, no, yeah, precisely. It's the wrong approach to it because number one, you're always going to be mediocre. You're always going to be mid. And you're never going to achieve greatness.
Mid as hell, because there's always going to be someone better than you.
There's always going to be someone better than you.
It is subjective, but
there will, no, 100%. I will touch on it. Yeah, definitely. So, the work will sell itself. So when I started, I've only just got round to completing all the music videos I said I was originally doing for free. So it took me a year to catch up with that. But when I started, I think I did like 5, 6. I think I've done about 6 free music videos.
Yeah. It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, when you're creative like me and you, this is all you want to do. You don't want to work some crap job. So you do want to, you try to make a living off of it. And sometimes that can really bash into the thing of the art comes first because it's like, yeah, but I need to go on holiday, or yeah, but I need to take this girl out, or do you know what I mean? It's like,
I need some new shoes, bro, because my shit's battered,
Oh, mate, bloody hell.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You just gotta ignore it and just grind through the shit, I think.
You've got to put up with that initial stage of just receiving next to nothing, if you know what I mean. You've got to be looking at, I mean, even now, I'd left my job last year in August and I put this big story and I was like, I can't believe I've now left my 9 to 5 and I can do this full time. 3 months later, I got back into a 9 to 5. So it's you've got to double
for now.
You've got to double back on yourself sometimes. It's all part of the process where you've got to sort of double back. And it's, if you've got somewhat of an ego, which everyone's got a bit of an ego, it can really tarnish that. But what I can say to that is, don't let your ego get in the way, because it's all for the better. Do you know what I mean? You might think, I don't want to go back to working a shitty bar job and stuff like that. I can't do it. You know what I mean? It tarnishes your ego.
I feel like that every day. And then I remember just Jay Green from Sheffield.
There you go. Exactly. It's all part of the process.
That fucking pint, bro. You gotta do it. But if you work on your craft, like Joff's doing, it's gonna pay off eventually. And like you said, don't look for the riches, but that can come with it. If
it's gonna come with it.
No matter 100% come with it. If and it not just not to sound all, I don't know, I might have to bleep this out, but not to sound gay, but and all spiritual, but God. Riches is in you're gonna feel because you're gonna be depressed working some shitty ass job. You know what I mean? So when I say riches, I mean you're gonna get paid well. You're gonna be happy every day because you're doing something you enjoy. And when you can be creative all the time, you're never going to get bored because it's something new every time. Like, and yeah, like, I don't know. That's just all I wanted to say.
That's why I think we're very fortunate as well. Me and the gang of directors who we're affiliated with, because I just think it's such an amazing job for you to do it professionally and get to that high level status. It is so good, because, like you say, it just breeds creativity. You're always creative, no matter what you do, and you're getting paid. So it's amazing. It really is. I always count my blessings. Everyone has the bad days. I think we both do, where we just wake up and just think, I can't be arsed. I just want to go smoke weed and do nothing all day.
Or just go and get Blando. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then feel shit.
Forget it on a Monday.
Yeah.
Every time, but like you say, everyone goes through them, and I think people worse off than others that really sit on things like the creativity, because there's a lot of creative people out there that are just thinking, they're just pipe dreams, and I'll crack on with me labouring, and it's like, no,
don't do that. Do not do that.
You're a lyrical genius, and you're not capitalising on it. Do you know what I mean? You're just slaving away doing construction or I mean, there's no problem in doing that, but when you sat on greatness like art and creativity, it's like, well, why are you not capitalising on it?
It is hard to balance it, innit? I guess. You know, like we've just said, like you've got to suck it up sometimes and earn that money working a normal job while you do this on the side.
Yeah.
So I know it can be off-putting, but like you said, people do sit on greatness and it'll just go to absolutely nothing if you don't do something with it.
And you will wake up one day when you're 40 and you just think, fuck, man.
Yeah, literally, you don't want that, dude. You want to wake up at 40 and
you don't.
Shit. Like, you're waking up next to your missus that hates you and that because you're depressed.
Wake up to a big fart from your missus.
And it's like, and you're thinking, shit, alarm's going off at 5 a.m. I've got to be on site for 6 a.m.
Got a bike to work.
Yeah, it's like, fuck that, bro. And it's like, if you're all right with
We've all done it. Like, I used to bike to work at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Before I even started the pursuit of being a film director. I used to bike to work. 5 o'clock in the morning in the winter, and I used to just think, what is life?
I feel like, I don't know why people don't want to escape it, but I don't know. But to change the topic, not to rant about
not to get all depressing.
Because listen, we're both still working normal jobs alongside this. That was the whole point.
We're not famous, rich directors. Not yet. Don't get it twisted.
Not yet. But yeah, what I was going to say is, like, on so we've just talked about like the benefits, like, it can pay well, you can be creative and whatnot. Have you had any bad experiences yet in terms of like working with a client? And I'm not going to ask you to name names. Chef's small. Don't name names unless you really want to, but don't. But if you have had bad experiences, like how bad have they been?
I wouldn't say I've had any like, oh my god, this is hell experiences, but I've had like a couple where it's like, oh man, and you feel very drained after.
Yeah.
And I think what it comes down to is a lot of clients tend to overthink, and they like to get in their heads a lot. And it ends up getting to a point where you're scrapping ideas on the day, and you're like, oh, for God's sake! And then you just, you know what I mean? And it all becomes a jumbled mess. And obviously, if you're a skilled director, you can save it in the process if you know what you're doing. And you've got a good improvisation skills and stuff like that. You can somewhat save it, and that's what really makes you the great director. Is like, I mean, Martin Scorsese, someone I can draw upon, is like, something will be going wrong, and one of the crew members will come up to him and go, what are we going to do about that? And he'll sort of like, he'll like close his eyes and he'll go, da, 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 and then he'll come up with something that's crazy. I mean, that's what I think Jonah Hill said it in an interview one time while working on at Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's what makes you a good director, is problem solving. You've got to be a good problem solver.
1,000%, because it never really goes to plan.
No way, no, and especially in the early stages. I mean, if you are an upcoming director, videographer, just know that everything you may plan in your head, you might write out a full treatment. I mean, I've been there where I've wrote out massive treatments and visions, and it's just gone. I've sent it to a client. They've gone, nah, and I just think, wow.
It's like, thank you very much, bro. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it
got to improvise, aren't you?
You really do, and that's what's going to make you and stand out if you can do them things. And obviously, what's going to make you stand out as well is if sometimes them treatments do go to plan, and they let you shoot something that you want to shoot, and that goes for like studios, and even when it comes down to feature films, when you're pitching an idea and you've got your script there, and you're basically on your knees begging for them to finance your film and stuff like that. So it is completely negotiating with other people. So sometimes when it comes down to the client and stuff like that, and negotiating with the client, even on the day of set. Sometimes you can clash ideas, and that's what I've sort of experienced, but it's never been like a thing of like, holy Jesus, please stop, kill me now.
Yeah, please fucking, I wish I weren't here, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
It's good though you hadn't ran into that, to be fair, because I haven't. Yeah. But we all know it's going to happen.
We all know,
it's going to happen, but I feel like you've got to deal with it professionally, I guess, now.
Oh,
especially now, like, you're not just doing shit for free, and you've got a price on your work, and you need to be respected. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like
definitely
you've got to act professional. So
you've got to like you say, if you wanted to make a living off of it, you've got to sometimes treat it a bit like it's like a business, because once you let a couple clients walk on you, you start getting getting comfy, and then everyone starts walking all over you. You don't get anywhere. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to get anywhere.
You've got to have a bit of a backbone.
Yeah, you've got to be a control freak when it comes down to directing, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad you hadn't had any bad ones.
Yeah,
like we said. So I did want to ask you, because I know you don't just want to do music videos. You want to move on. I mean, I don't know how long do you reckon you'll always do them?
I think I will. I think even if I do end up moving on to films and stuff like that one day, I will always, in the in-between down parts, I will always want to direct music videos. 100%.
Yeah, that's fire. So what we're going to say with that is, obviously, you touched on like Tarantino and stuff. I don't know, you can pick this one. So I was going to say top 5 or top 3 directors. Have you got 5 you can list, or is it top 3?
I've got 5. I've got 5.
I want them in order. So from start at 5 and then 1 being like your favourite.
Oh God. You really put me on the spot.
I feel like it's an interesting thing to ask, because like you said, you always have shit ingrained in your head.
Yeah.
Of like looking at other people's work. So I feel like it'd be interesting to, like, when you do start putting out some more, I'm gonna have a look at them and see if I can spot some shit.
Yeah.
Go on, hit me with it, man. If you can think of 5, then go for it. But if you can't, it's cool.
I think I'm still on my film journey of watching films and discovering new directors. I mean, like, I'm 21, so I'm still on that journey of finding a lot of critically underrated directors and stuff like that. But for what it has been so far, I'd say number 5, I would probably say Tarantino. I would really say Tarantino, and he inspires me through his pure passion for film. Like, that's
crazy, isn't it?
It's amazing, and he really sold the thing of you don't have to go to university, and you don't have to do this and that.
Oh no, yeah. He's against it, isn't it? I don't know if he's against it, but the way I've seen him talk about it, he's very passionate about not going.
I think secretly he really hates the education route, because I always flicking through reels sometimes, it always seems like if you have enough passion and enough drive, you can't help but make a good movie.
Yeah, it's true though, isn't it?
It is true, yeah.
Because if you're creative enough and you've got that drive,
you've got a love for it.
Yeah, it works. I mean, look at him, man. He's not made one bad film.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. But he inspires me for his love for cinema and how that anyone can make a film if you love it that much. My 4th one's probably Scorsese, definitely. Just on the fact of he stays true to what he knew when he was growing up, and he stays true to the rawness of cinema, and it's not this big genre piece, or it's not this sort of like, I'm doing a Western today, or I'm doing a scary movie today. It's always been his own genre, like in mobster movies, because that's what he knew when he was growing up.
You know, it's Scorsese, don't you?
Oh, 100%.
Straight away.
But he inspires me just because of how he stuck to his roots, and he stuck to what he knew, and that's what really inspired me as well. So yeah, Scorsese, and just the fact that he's an amazing director on set and whatnot. I think the 3rd one I'd say is probably Mike Flanagan. Do you know Mike Flanagan? You ever watched?
This is where you're probably gonna fucking throw me off now, because you're going to know a lot more than me. Them 2 are my goats. Cliche as hell, I know, but they are. So yeah, go on, hit me with it.
Mike Flanagan, you ever watch Haunting of Hill House on Netflix?
On Netflix?
That's Mike Flanagan.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
so
sick. I really enjoyed it, to be fair.
Mike Flanagan, he was he used to be like a news editor, like editing like news clips and stuff like that. You can imagine how stressful and crap that job is.
Yeah, terrible.
So he just, I think he was like 25, 26, I don't know how old he was, but he sort of just said like, right, I need to make a feature film. And he is obviously a big fan of Stephen King novels, and he just really incorporated his own horror art. Yeah.
Gotta cut real quick.
Cut that shit. Mike Flanagan.
Yeah,
it was on Mike Flanagan. Yeah. What was I saying? So yeah, no, his love for Stephen King novels and stuff like that really tried, because he did the sequel to Shining.
Yeah.
He did a sequel to Stanley Kubrick's Shining, which walked a fine line between Stanley Kubrick's original intention for The Shining and Stephen King's novel. So after watching it was called Doctor Sleep, with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
And after watching that, I was like, yeah, this guy he's amazing. And he's just... What I love about horror directors is when the stuff's actually unnerving and scary, and it's not just boom.
He doesn't. I think jump scare. Like, is that what you mean?
Jump scare.
When something actually makes you feel weird, when when you watch a film and you get in bed afterwards and you're like,
oh,
horrible. I've had a few like that, to be fair. So I don't blame you. To be fair. I know you're a fan of the horror, so it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll always be in anything I will direct. There'll always be horror elements in that, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Mike Flanagan and his work on Haunting of Hill House was just amazing. I like Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game weren't bad, but Mike Flanagan as a director is very, very good, and a writer as well.
Yeah.
He's a very good writer. So that's number 3. Number 2, I'd say. Can I do a split one?
Yeah, if you want to.
Can I do a split? Can I do a joint one?
Yes, a joint for first place.
I'll do a joint for
2.
I'll do a 2, and then I'll do an honourable mention, and then I'll do a 1.
That's fine. Go hit me with it.
Number 2, I'd say Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and Midsommar.
Not watched Midsommar, but I watched Hereditary for the first. Well, actually, I say for the first time. It was about a year ago, but quite late in it because it's been out a while.
I think 2017.
Well, that is an unnerving film, and films do take a lot to get me. Sometimes that was fucked, but honestly, I rate that you've picked him. To be fair, 'cause like I said, I don't really know my directors like that, but I know that film. So
yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. That's absolutely me. I mean, that's exactly what you want as a director. Even if they don't know your name, they know your film, and that's it. But Ari Aster, when he stepped onto the scene and when I watched Hereditary, I was like, unknowingly, this is all I wanted from horror. This is what horror has been screaming out for the past 10 years. You had James Wan stuff like Insidious, which like touched on it a little bit and then just got cheesy towards the end.
Yeah, they got silly, didn't they?
Yeah, and then he went crazy with it. Like Hereditary was just like, wow. So yeah, Ari Aster's been a massive inspiration when it came down to the scares and the unnervingness and the things that get under your skin. I wasn't a big fan of Midsommar though. I wasn't
I've not seen it. I've heard good things about it though, but I've not actually seen it, so I can't comment.
You're either a fan of it because the two. This is why I really like him, because the two very different films tonally. And you either like one or the other better. It's never like, well, I like them both. It's like, no, you either like one or the others now. So yeah, Ari Aster for number 2. Honourable mention, Robert Eggers. Amazing director, A24. Did The Lighthouse, The Witch, and did recently The Northman.
Not watched any of them, bro.
You've never seen the... Wow.
Lighthouse, I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
And Northman, it came out quite recently, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like a year ago, maybe less than a year ago.
Yeah, I think I went to see it last year in cinemas. Yeah.
I've heard good things, but I never come around to watching it. But go on, why him though?
He's amazing. Well, what really inspires me about Robert Eggers is the complete and utter. He'll just go into complete solitary isolation with him and his brother, and he will just do some crazy research on films, and he'll get really like historically accurate things that you wouldn't even think about, and it'd just be like the amount of effort you're putting into not only educate your audience but make it just like a timepiece. Do you know what I mean? It's like a period of time that you've just slotted out.
Put it there for people to see.
Yeah,
it's like probably. I know what you mean by that. It's like the closest thing to a time travel machine. Isn't it?
It really is though. No, honestly, it really is
when people can do it.
And there's a lot of there's always been them like horror tales and ghost stories throughout history. A lot more prominent throughout history than it has been today.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like about Robert Eggers, that he likes his folklore and he likes his scary sort of undertones and the existential crisis of things. Just like The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse was brilliant. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's the honourable mention. Another honourable mention. Denis Villeneuve, guy who did Dune, Sicario, Prisoners. You ever seen Prisoners? Hugh Jackman.
No, I haven't, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna hate me probably.
No, it's alright. Don't worry.
It's what I'm here for. Is it a classic?
It's not a classic. It was made in the 2010s, so it's not a classic.
Fair.
It's on Netflix, but yeah, he's an amazing sci-fi director. Massive inspiration on the existential crisis of the unknown and stuff like that. He's amazing. But the first place we finally got onto it.
Go on, hit me with it.
Edgar Wright is the GOAT.
The name rings a bell. Come on, what?
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz.
Oh yeah, like the Cornetto.
Yeah.
Is it the Cornetto trilogy? Is that what it's called?
Edgar Wright.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you know what? I did not expect that at all. From
He is the biggest. He's very similar tonally to Tarantino stuff, and the way he approaches filmmaking is very similar to Tarantino.
You say like dialogue wise.
He's got very punchy dialogue.
Yeah, and it's like,
do you know what I mean?
I feel like with them films, you can just have the two good characters. If he writes two good characters, you can literally watch them for half an hour just talking in a car, like in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
when they're just sat in the car and just talking, it's like it just pulls you in, doesn't it? I don't know. Yeah. They are good at doing that shit. So
he's because they both Tarantino and Edgar Wright make genre pieces. So what they'll do is they'll accumulate all their love for cinema of a certain genre. For example, you've got Django Unchained for Tarantino's love for westerns. You've got Hot Fuzz as Edgar Wright's love for buddy comedy films, buddy cop films and stuff like Lethal Weapon and whatnot. Shaun of the Dead for like zombie films and stuff. So it's amazing the fact that you can just be a nerdy little film nerd like me and you and everyone, and you can make such great films if you really capitalize on it and really think about.
Everyone knows them films.
Yeah, exactly. So
I feel like that's what you want as a director. Like, imagine being in that point where like you said, I didn't even know the names, but I know the films. And that's all that matters, isn't it?
It's all that matters.
If people enjoy your work, then
exactly. But yeah, Edgar Wright for just the sole fact of it, his things are so funny, and he's from like a rural town like me in England, where he was just a kid who just wanted to make films, and he was exactly like me again, a college dropout who just thought, right, I want to start making films, and he just went for it, and he got some friends like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and he just stuck by him.
Rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah, the rest is history, literally. They're bang on. So
it's always that come up story, bro. That's why, like, you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Drop out of college, kids. That's what you want to say.
They're the ones you got to look out for.
Yeah, and you will get somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we're going to wrap it up here.
Been a pleasure.
Been good to have you on. It's the first pod. More to come. We're going to have a variety of people on, but I had to have Joff as my first.
I'll be back.
Yeah,
I will be back.
He'll be back, definitely, because I'm going to have multiple people on. When I move into the office, I'm going to have more than one person on with me as well. We'll have a bigger mic set up. We'll have multiple camera angles. It'll be better. This was more like a test, but it's probably going to be the best one I do for a while.
No, thank you.
No,
hey.
Honestly though, I feel like we've had a good chat. So
covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, definitely. So
educated the youth.
Yeah. If you want to shout out your Instagram and shit.
Yeah. So it's Instagram's at joff.ski. Also, I'm running a distribution channel called Double C. That's in my bio on Joffski. So go run that up. Go check out some of my work. Go check out 0114 Plus, J. Lewis Green.
Yep,
all of that. Get affiliated to the Sheffield up and coming director.
Don't sleep on it, man.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on it.
Because once you say you're going to wake up, you're going to see us, and we'll just, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's going to be too late, and you suckers are going to be behind. So.
You'll be slacking.
Remember these words, yeah. So there we go. Right.
Yeah, been a pleasure.
Peace.
Yeah, man.
There we go, man. I feel like that went sound, bro.